Ancient Greece, are you ready for some fantastic information throughout these videos? Fingers crossed, I give it to you. So, Kronos, we have to start with him from ancient Greece. Now, he supposedly was the king of the Titans and the father of various people, including Poseidon and Zeus. Now, a lot of people were saying that Enlil from the Anunnaki was Kronos, but we have to go back to the Anunnaki's list here, and Anu, which shows there as Kronos on this particular list, but I can prove that he was Kronos because if you go back to the ancient Sumerian texts that talk about how Anu became king, his father was not part of the kingship. In other words, his father didn't have the throne before him, so they would not talk about his father. In other words, he would have been the top dog only, and therefore he would be Kronos. So keep watching for more. I'd like to try and convince you, the jury, that Kronos from ancient Greece was in fact King Anu from the planet Nibiru as an Anunnaki, or Elohim as their race name was called. And when they got here, they were called Anunnaki, and they came here 450,000 years ago, which is all written in their ancient texts. Now, modern scholars believe that the actual text that they wrote, even though they were talking about stuff that happened in the past, the actual writing started around 2800 BC. Now, when they came here, they gave themselves 12 supreme rulers that we ended up calling 12 gods, but they were 12 supreme rulers out of all of the Anunnaki that came to Earth at that point. Now, hold that thought, 2800 years, whereas the Greek gods were 900 BC. In other words, the Anunnaki predate the Greek mythology, and just so happens the Greek mythology has 12 gods just like the Anunnaki. I hope I'm convincing you so far. The ancient Greek gods are the same ones as the Anunnaki. It just so happens they all decide to wear virtually no clothes. They also decide to keep beards, as you see here in the Anunnaki older carving. And also, just so happens there was 12 ancient Greek gods, there was 12 Anunnaki gods. Skin colour just so happens to be the same, white, as here it says, it talks about Homer saying that the gods were white, and the text of the Sumerians say that they were pale skinned. The ancient texts also talk about the Anunnaki going to the top of a mountain and actually having a sort of a retreat place there, and then eventually they decided to stay there. I cover why in my Patreon video called Where Did the Anunnaki Go, if anyone's interested in that. And also I get told that by someone that reads Greek that all the Greek translations are correct. I'm just showing you here, there's 80 words in the Bible alone. That's just, obviously there's so many more translations wrong, so it's not always. If Kronos in ancient Greece times was King Anu, why did he change his name to Kronos? Well, we just need to look here at Wikipedia. They have actually got this wrong. They wrote Enki came here and then changed his name to Ea, which is actually around the other way. It should have been Ea was changed to Enki, Kai being the name for Earth, which makes sense because Enki came to Earth. And we just need to look at some of the other players, such as Iana was also called Ishtar and Aphrodite. Marduk was called Ra and Thor. Yes, I'll get to that later on. And so they basically all changed their names. And there's only one description that I can find of when King Anu came down just after the flood, and they had a meeting place on the top of a mountain. You can probably guess that was Mount Olympus, and then he was taken over to Mesopotamia. So that's the only record I can find of King Anu being in Greece. Kronos in ancient Greece times, I think, was King Anu from Nibiru, one of the Elohim people, and yes, Elohim being the actual race name, and the Anunnaki were the ones that came here to Earth, and the Aegi were the ones that stayed on Mars, and they're all still Elohim people. Now, Kronos says that his father was the supreme ruler and he overthrew him by killing him, whereas King Anu never had a father that was in charge, so therefore King Anu couldn't have done that, but he did actually overthrow Allelujah. Now, what I'm saying is the people that translates the ancient Greece, if they do not do what I do, which is research everything, if they only research ancient Greece, then they're going to put down that Kronos overthrew his father, whereas it was probably Allelujah that they're referring to, but of course they don't do enough research around everything